Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And today's topic is about how to pick different dataset in your process as per odd or even month number in SAS. Say if we are in even month, our process should pick SAS help.cars. If we are in odd month, it should pick SAS help.class. To arrive to this solution, we need the help of two functions and we will discuss those two functions very briefly. The first function is month function. What month function does is it pulls month number from a date. Here I have two different dates, and what I'm doing is I'm using month function on both of them. Now let us quickly run this data step to see our results. In the results you can see that we have month number of 10 and 9. And if we look into the data in here, our date is October and September. October is a 10th month, September is a 9th month. Now we are able to derive month number from a date. Now let us talk about our second function, that is SAS mod function. What SAS mod function does is it returns remainder when we divide one number by another. And here we can represent this as something like this. Remainder equal to mod, and then we have two arguments, dividend comma divisor. Now let us try out this mod function in the data step below. In the data step below, I'm using mod function couple of times, and my dividend in the first case is 10 and my divisor is 2. And in the second case, my dividend is 10 and my divisor is 2. And if you look into both of these, I'm using the same divisor, that is 2. Now 10 is completely divisible by 2, so we will have the remainder of 0. Whereas 9 is not completely divisible by 2, so the remainder will not be equal to 0. Now we can use this mod function to determine whether a particular integer is an odd number or an even number. If a number is divisible by 2 and gives a remainder of 0, then it means it's an even number. If the remainder is not 0, then the number is odd. Now these two functions are enough to solve our problem, along with a little bit more of logic which I am going to discuss very soon. Now first what we need to do is we need to extract month from the date which we are interested in. Here I am interested in 02 Jan 2022. And then I'm extracting month. So the first step is extracting month from the date. Then once I have extracted month from the date, I'm using mod function on that particular variable. And whatever the value, that is the remainder value I get, I'm capturing into a macro variable which I'm calling here modulo, and I'm doing this with the help of call symputx. I have made a very detailed video on call symputx, and if you do not know much about call symputx, please have a look into that particular video, and link for the same I will give in the description below. Now essentially what we have is this new macro variable modulo, which tells us whether a particular month is even or odd by comparing the value whether it is 0 or not, as we have captured month. And on that month what we have done is we have run mod 2. If the remainder was 0, that tells us that that's an even number. If the remainder is not 0, that tells that it's an odd number. And we have that value in modulo. Now let us go back and look into the logic what we were talking about initially. Even month numbers should pick SAS help.cars. Odd month numbers should pick SAS help.class. So we can use this logic in this fashion. As we have made a macro variable modulo which tells us whether a number is a even number or a odd number. So the logic we create is something like this. If our macro variable modulo is equal to 0, then we want to create a new macro variable SAS help.cars. If it is not equal to 0, we want to create macro variable SAS help.class. And then what we are going to do is we are going to use this particular macro variable in our process. The process here is very simple, and we are just doing a proc print and we are using a macro variable in here what we have created. Now I want to go a little bit detail about what I have discussed in here. Here what I have written is %if ampersand modulo is equal to 0, %then do %let dsn underscore as underscore per month equal to SAS help.cars. Means I'm using %if %do logic to create macro variable, and then %end here, and then I'm using %else, %do, %let, dsn underscore as per month equal to SAS help.class %end. The important point to remember here is I have written this whole %if %then logic outside of a macro, and we can do this from SAS 9.4 M4 I guess, and then we can only do when we do %then %do. So in this fashion we created a macro variable, and then we identified whether the macro variable value is even or odd, and then we created another macro variable depending upon our requirement in here, and then we have used in the process in here. I have made a detailed video on %if, %then and %do logic, and also how to create macro variables with %let statement. Link for the same I will give in the description below. Now let us slowly run our code and see our results. First let's try to create our macro variable modulo, and then once I run this code, what I can do is I can use a %put statement in here as I am showing you, and I can check the value of modulo. In this case the modulo value is 1, indicating that it is an odd month. Now let us also run this %if code and see what happens. Now we have run our %if code, and then now also let us see what is the value of our macro variable which has been created in here. For that I am using another %put, and let's see our result in here. And in here you can see that it is SAS help.class, because that is what we wanted to have, because this is not an even month, this is an odd month. So SAS help.class was selected, and if we do proc print, it's going to do the proc print for SAS help.class. Now let us try to change this and put it to today. Now we are in the month of December, so this is an even month. So let us run our complete code and see our results both in the log and also in our results pane. Now first let me run this code, and in the code you can go in the log and see we have modulo macro variable value as 0, indicating that it is an even month, and also as it is an even month we are going to select SAS help.cars, or rather I would say we have created dsn underscore as underscore per month macro variable which has a value of SAS help.cars, and also our proc print also has SAS help.cars. Now what I want to tell you here is, by creating couple of macro variables and using couple of functions, what we have done is we have made the code very dynamic and without any hard coding. That's all for this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share and subscribe. Thank you.